In a moment. My Mattersea, wow. Well, my mum and dad's here today, and I'm not going to ask them to stand up, but you'll know who my mum is, because she's the most beautiful woman in this room. Oh, come on. But I just went over and chatted with them before the start of this service, and it's actually, I've forgotten, but it's actually their 28th year anniversary today.
Is it?
So that's amazing. And they've been such an impact in my life. Mum just reminded me that, I've been home educated by the way, but she just reminded me that we used to have these checkups from an educational overseer in our area, and she said to me some words that this man had told her. Said, Paul Jones, you know, he's a bit behind on his reading, isn't he? He's a bit behind on his ability to, his English in that, isn't he? And this is when I was a kid, you know, 7, 8 years old. And I grew up with this sort of, I could do it, but I really struggled with my academic ability. And I kind of grew up with this mentality where I didn't feel I was good enough to do it. And there might be people in here today who feel that. I'm not going to preach, but maybe. I've got to be careful. I've only got 5 minutes. There might be people in here who feel that. That's definitely something I felt. I'm not good enough to do a degree programme. I went as a gardener for 5 years, and in 2014, at the start of the year, I felt the call of God to study the Word more, spend more time reading the Bible and learning. So I thought, oh, what should I do? Now, a friend of mine had just got back from Mattersea, Nathan Ferris. Shout out to him. Good guy. And I saw that God had changed him in how he was, that he was now a man of God. And I thought, that's what I need. So I thought, right, God, I'm going to test the water out. I'm going to take a step of faith. And sometimes following Jesus means taking a step of faith into what he's calling you to do. So I went along to Mattersea, and I had a great experience, loved the community, and I felt the peace of God on me to do that. But it's been a crucible. You know, there's been times of real challenge, you know, from academics and the community. I'm not going to touch on what Faith said, but it's been a bit like a crucible. But what I want to say to you today is follow Jesus wherever he takes you, even into the crucible. The vision of Mattersea is to help form the next generation of Christian leaders. And you know, in that crucible, I've been formed. Following Jesus has formed me. And there's been things I've learned on the journey, from placement, to spending time in the community, to being accountability, to the friendships, students I love you guys in my year, but you know, all of you have been amazing, and I count it a real privilege to spend these last 3 years with you all. So thank you for being that part of my life. And in that crucible, when he forms us in the crucible, but he also sends us out of the crucible. And in my second year of Mattersea, I was like, God, what are you going to call me to do? I've no idea, you know, where's next. And God just brought alongside me Matt and Becky Murray, who are here today. And I've been going there on placement this year, and they've really released me to do some different things in church. So in that process, God's been faithful. And I'm going to go there in September and just serve the church for a year and just see where that goes. But God is faithful. So I don't know, maybe Mattersea's for you. It's definitely been a massive impact in my life. And I've went from a place of insecurity to security in God. And following Jesus is so important. But what I want to end on, and they haven't paid me for saying this, is just honouring a few people. So I want to honour these people, because these are people who follow Jesus themselves, and that's so evident and so clear, and it's really impacted my life. That when they've been in the crucible, they haven't fell away, they've stayed following Jesus. So, and they've impacted my life. I want to honour Robin. Where is he? Robin, just come up. Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, Okay, guys, I'll give you a moment in a minute. So that's for you. That's a thank you from all the students. I want to honour Stephen Jenkins. Come on, Stephen. And I want to honour Peter Gavanna. I was trying to think of one word for each of you to how you've impacted me, and I'd say presence. I've learned the presence of Jesus. I've learned how to write the papers. And I've learned how to be a pastor. Dealing with all those things at Mattersey. So come on, I want to give us a Mattersey thank you clap. Applause. Oh! Hey, wait. There you go. Come on, come on. Thank you, guys. Let's do it. I think you can tell from the response there the impact that these guys have had on our lives. So I'll leave you with this thought. Who are you following? Paul says, follow others as they follow Jesus, in 1 Corinthians. He said, follow me as I follow Christ. So who are we following? Choose who we follow carefully. Get people around you who are going to inspire you, encourage you, and challenge you to grow. Thank you.